ka di wasala tsa kgaraletso ke a galaletsa. Ke galaletsa tautiro wa rona lefatshe la Botswana. Ka dikomakonkomi ke a koma. Ke a koma ke koma ka motho a le motona tautulana a nna molatlala. Mongame ke a bona gompieno wa phatsima, wa galalela. Wa tsabakela o tshwana le tamane le mo sekakeng. Le wena Mmathile o seka re ga ke go bona ke a go bona gompieno ka le wena wa itse gore mopaphanga ke sekgabo sa ga tautula go monate. Ke bua ka motho o mokokotlo thata ka tito a tlharesa morukuru gompieno o re kokwantse go se sibetse go nnile tidimang. Ke bua ka motho tautula a lefatshe la Botswana ya botlhano. O monate thata. Tautula ko o tomoge motho a ga setlhomo. O tsamaya go tlhoma masitiwa sa gore sa re se beile re se tlhotlhorile le rona. Mongame ke seo sala le sone seo.
Gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Botswana is ready to address his nation.
Thank you very much. You may kindly be seated. Directors of ceremony, the First Lady of the Republic of Botswana and my dear beloved wife. Manyathelo. My dear mother, Mrs. Precious Masisi, and my family members, Your Excellency, President Philip Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique, Your Excellency, Dr. Edgar Lungu, President of the Republic of Zambia, Your Excellency, President Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, the Right Honorable Ambrose Dlamini, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, and Mrs. Dlamini, Your Excellency, Dr. Festus Khuntibane Mogae, former President of the Republic of Botswana, and Mrs. Mogae, Your Excellency, Dr. Mbumba, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, and Madam Mbumba, Your Excellency, Samayu Hussein, Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency, Vice President Mr. Vincent Meriton of the Republic of Seychelles, Your Excellency, Dr. Borneo Baltazar, Vice President of the Republic of Angola, and Mrs. Baltazar. Your Excellency, Dr. Imuyareme, President of the Senate of the Republic of Rwanda. Your Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Terence Ranwani, and Dr. Malebogo Musau Ranwani. Your Honor, Dr. Ponatsego H. Kidikilwe, former Vice President of the Republic of Botswana. The Right Honorable Dr. Muleleki, Deputy Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho. Honorable Kagiso Molatleri, the Acting Speaker of the National Assembly, and Mrs. Molatleri. Dr. Juma, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Mr. Mtembu, Minister in the Presidency of the Republic of South Africa. Mrs. Chu Junghu, Special Representative of the Chinese Government on African Affairs, and your delegation. Former Cabinet Ministers of Botswana, elected members of Parliament, and your dear spouses. Your Excellency, Jabo Dosari, representative of the Emir of Qatar. representative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Chief of Staff, Ambassador Diop, Your Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations, Mahosi ya rona le bahumagadi le bo rakgosi, church leaders, members of the media fraternity, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, Batswana bethu ke dumetsa ka pula. A pula ene. Pula. Having been sworn in by Chief Justice Terence Ranwani, I am honored to express my profound gratitude to the people of Botswana for having performed their national duty by exercising their constitutional right to elect the political leadership of their choice. I am indeed delighted and humbled by the demonstration of trust bestowed upon me and my government by Botswana. At the outset, therefore, I want to reiterate my determination to devote my entire time and energy to improve the lives of our citizens who are yearning for social and economic transformation of our country. I wish to emphasize here that Botswana should always remain at the epicenter of our development agenda. Today, ladies and gentlemen, marks an important day in the path of development of Botswana's democracy. It is an occasion that symbolizes the wishes of the majority regarding the direction that the nation should take. It is a stark reminder of what our ideals are as a democratic state. This is essentially because we can never fully appreciate the democracy and the peace that we continue to enjoy, nor the unity we are known for globally, until the essence of what defines us as a nation has been put to a test. It is only then that we will know our true mettle and understand the meaning of our values, and above all, the measure of our commitment to uphold and protect those values which are anchored on our long-standing national principles of self-reliance, unity, democracy, development, Therisano, and Botho, put together yielding Kagisan. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on the 23rd of October, the year of our Lord, 2019, borrowing from the bishop, you spoke with one voice to preserve that which our forefathers and foremothers worked very hard to achieve. It has been an easy journey for us as a nation over the years, as a path for democracy was long carved out for us by those who began modern political journey in 1965. Our duty was only to preserve the work of our founders. I therefore stand before you this morning, humbled by the fact that we have once again succeeded in this endeavor of preserving our democracy and unity as a nation. In this regard, I want to take this opportunity to heartily and sincerely congratulate honorable members of parliament and councillors from different political parties for their electoral victory. However, I wish and hasten to remind all victors, regardless of political affiliation, that our duty is to serve the interests of Botswana and Botswana without fear or favor. Similarly, I want to commend the leaders of political parties, party candidates, independent candidates, as well as the electorate themselves for taking part in the general elections. Former President Dr. Mugabe once said, and I quote, In doing so, they have enriched our democracy, sharpened the contest, enhanced public debates on national issues, and enabled the electorate to make informed choices, close quote. I can assure you that we are united in our political commitment to take this country to greater heights by ensuring that there is inclusive socio-economic development. We stand united because of the aspirations we have as a people to make this country a better place for all of us to live in. We must view this day as a national victory, where our common love for freedom, decency, democracy, and the fundamental rights of our people to determine their future has risen above any political differences we may have as a people. Therefore, I want to urge all of us to continue on this path and work together in building a peaceful and harmonious country as a united people. In assuming the position of President of this Republic on this important day, I need your support, your prayers, your blessings to effectively fulfill the presidential oath that I have just taken. I once again pledge to play my part and to do my utmost best to address the needs of the people of this nation and to work with you to realize both our dreams and our vision as a nation. When I was inaugurated as the 5th president, the first time that is, of the Republic of Botswana on the 1st of April 2018, like many of you, I had aspirations about where we could take this country. We have as a nation faced a myriad of socio-economic challenges over the years. For example, in the early 90s, we bore the brunt of the HIV and AIDS epidemic and lost thousands of lives of our people to this scourge. Almost a decade later, in 2008, our economy was battered by the global financial downturn, forcing us to halt some major development projects that impacted negatively on our economic prosperity. Today, we continue to face problems and challenges of unemployment, poverty, corruption, hostile external interference to our democracy, and threats of capture, alcohol and substance abuse, climate change and drought, amongst others. But despite all these, we have always stood together as a nation to address these challenges. As we look into the future with the optimism only a Motswana can muster, we must hold firmly to our resolve to transform our economy from over-reliance on our natural resource wealth to increasingly rely mainly on knowledge capital and thus yielding a knowledge-based economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the National Transformation Strategy that we are working on will be a reference document that will guide the implementation of our National Vision 2036, which espouses prosperity for all Botswana. In this regard, the recently appointed National Transformation Strategy team will lay out the fundamental changes needed in policy, institutions, and mindset to transform Botswana. When I made the decision to run for the highest office of the land, my priorities were focused on 3 key areas that need to be addressed in order to turn our fortunes around. These are creating jobs for our people, particularly the youth, improving service delivery both in the public and the private sectors, as well as strengthening our governance structures. The details pertaining to other important development programs will be outlined in my State of the Nation address, which I will deliver in Parliament in a few weeks' time. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, young people are the hardest hit by joblessness. In order to address the twin problems of unemployment and poverty among our people in general, I have committed to prioritize job creation during my tenure. One of our key priorities is to ensure the creation of meaningful and sustainable jobs by promoting public-private partnerships with local and foreign investors in some of the key sectors of agriculture, mining, tourism, manufacturing, electronics, pharmaceuticals, as well as research and development, among others. Through these sectors, as well as the arts, the creative industry, and sports, there is enormous potential for the creation of thousands of jobs for Botswana. The government of Botswana is also in negotiations, advanced I might add, with Forbes to host the 2020 Under-30 Summit in Gaborone as part of the President's initiative. It will be the first time that Forbes Under-30 Summit will be held in Africa. The event brings together at least 600 of the world's most elite entrepreneurs and game changers. There will be 200 of Africa's best. There will be 200 of the world's best. And yes, you guessed right, there will be 200 of Botswana's best and brightest. The summit presents yet another opportunity not only for the young entrepreneurs in Botswana to learn from others and grow their businesses, but also explore more ways of creating jobs for the youth. Initiatives such as these are aimed at producing commercially viable and high-value products and services targeted at the export market. I say this cognizant of the fact that creating a conducive and enabling environment for the private sector to grow is key to our economic transformation and growth. This will be underpinned by government's facilitation through the ease of doing business reforms. In this regard, a number of policy and legislative reforms have been introduced, primarily aimed at creating a favorable environment for the private sector to thrive and grow. And yes, expect more. The recently introduced policy on the change of land use will enable Botswana the flexibility to use their land for expanded economic benefits. With this policy, it is my hope to see many citizens put in their land to productive use. The changes my government has introduced to our immigration policies, such as the issuance of visas on arrival, the improvement of residence and work permits turnaround time, will also go a long way in facilitating potential foreign investors to set up shop in this country. It is the intention of my government to digitize these services to make coming and staying in Botswana easy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, government will further leverage on the Economic Diversification Drive, EDD for short, to give citizens an opportunity to set up industries, to empower them, and in turn create the much-needed jobs for our people. In order to implement our economic diversification and the citizen economic empowerment initiatives, government will enact legislation to enforce compliance by relevant institutions, including the private sector. This is why I am happy to announce that the EDD strategy is being reviewed to close the existing gaps and help us to achieve in full the goals of the Citizen Economic Empowerment Program. Furthermore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as trade is the lifeblood of all nations and the global economy, diversification of our economic base is imperative. In this regard, we will continue to assess viability and feasibility of some unconventional sectors, such as investments into the freight, shipping, and logistics sector. These include investment in ownership of infrastructure, such as ports, ships, freight and freight planes, long-haulage trucks, and among others that may emerge with innovation. Despite Botswana being landlocked, experiences of other landlocked countries, such as Ethiopia and Switzerland, have demonstrated that this new sector could prove viable and indeed sustainable. Important partnerships with agencies such as the International Maritime Organization will be forged in this regard. This approach will therefore offer Botswana new skills and jobs in the vast ocean economy, thus expand livelihood options for Botswana beyond their borders. The world, as many of you may appreciate, has already made significant strides in moving towards the fourth industrial revolution. To this end, we are also working hard to embrace the dictates of this global digital revolution and transform our people and economy. Immediate steps are going to be taken to cause the necessary disruption to facilitate the changes so essential for us to enhance our speed of doing things. My government will continue to fund digital entrepreneurship, research and development, as well as train communities on basic internet skills to reap maximum benefits. Furthermore, a commitment has been made to provide technical assistance to the government in ensuring that youth-led ICT companies are trained and capacitated. Liquid Telecom has partnered with the Botswana Innovation Hub to train 1,500 youth in coding and software development. Additionally, a countrywide internet access program for students will see the development of edu zones, providing a dedicated platform that will drive research, innovation, and digital learning around the country. All these efforts will underpin our drive to change our economy to be knowledge-based and transform our country from a middle to high-income status. Distinguished guests, becoming a high-income country requires that our governance systems, as well as service delivery, should be beyond reproach. This will demand relentless efforts from all of us to improve service delivery across all sectors of government and the private sector to ensure that Botswana is highly competitive as well as an ideal destination of choice for foreign and domestic investment. Public sector reforms are critical for improved service delivery, and therefore they will be accelerated and intensified. The health of our people cannot be separated from our objective of improving service delivery and the social well-being of Botswana. The provision of health infrastructure must be adequate and equitably distributed to meet the unique needs and challenges of health services in present-day Botswana. This is cardinal in that good health and wellness are basic human rights and necessary conditions for any country's development. It is the intention of my government to work relentlessly to achieve a higher rate of return on our investments in the health sector. To this end, more investments will be made in the innovation and research space. More attention by our tertiary institutions will be paid to material science applications to solve our health problems, including through physical fitness. Furthermore, Botswana continues her efforts towards the fight against HIV and AIDS. The country's performance towards the UNAIDS 2020 targets of 90-90-90 and ending AIDS by 2030 are ongoing. We are already witnessing encouraging results in this regard because people on HIV and AIDS treatment are virally suppressed. As a result, Botswana is rated at 94%, thus surpassing the global target of 90%. But I must caution, this does not call for complacency. This is indeed some notable achievement in ensuring that Botswana live long and healthy lives. Distinguished guests, my government will continue to implement some critical programs under the Education and Training Sector Strategic Plan, or ETSSP, aimed at enhancing quality and access to education in line with local and global demands. Central to all these, it is the intention of my government to care more for its teachers and other cadres as a precursor to improvement. In order for us to commodify knowledge, tertiary institutions must offer programs that are industry needs specific, futuristic, innovative, and viable. In this regard, programs offered by institutions of higher learning will move away from domesticated knowledge to globalizing it in order to increase our graduates' competitiveness. That is said with the fullest respect of the independence of universities. As you may be aware, in the recent past, Botswana has experienced high incidences of human-wildlife conflict, particularly relating to elephants, due to their significant increase in population. This largely reflects the success of our conservation strategies, where, for example, approximately 40% of Botswana's landmass in the form of national parks, game reserves, and wildlife management areas is currently set aside for wildlife conservation. However, despite this land reservation, elephant population has increased beyond the capacity of the game reserves to encroach into human settlement areas, and hence the conflicts. My government, nevertheless, will continue to commit to outcomes that will set the tone for conserving and managing our wildlife, and elephants in particular, while ensuring that we achieve sustainable benefits through their contribution to rural livelihoods and tourism growth. Citizens will play a more meaningful and economically empowering role as we diversify our tourism base. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my government remains concerned by the scourge of serious gender-based abuse and violence against women and children in our society. My government will not rest until this scourge is brought under control through a combination of strategies that include strengthened legislation, policing, and effective mobilization for community involvement. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot hope to improve service delivery nor achieve any of our national objectives if our institutional frameworks are not robust, transparent, accountable, and free from corruption. I have fought against the menace of corruption since ascending to the presidency, and it is my intention to do so without relenting. I therefore wish to emphasize that my government will put in place measures and mechanisms through the application of best practices of good governance to ensure that corruption is defeated. Parliament has passed the law on the declaration of assets and liabilities. To operationalize this law, the Ethics and Integrity Directorate is being established as we speak. In the same vein, I would like to reiterate that I am committed to the rule of law in this country, as that will enhance confidence and send a message to all of us that the law must be abided by or face the consequences of non-compliance. In case some of the young people didn't understand it in their lingo or face the music. As part of government's efforts to deepen the spirit of Terisanyo, my government is committed to a comprehensive review of Botswana's constitution, which will take stock of the changed social, political, and economic landscape over the last 53 years. The engagements and consultations necessary to start the ball rolling will be initiated soon after the full formation of my government. I remain resolute in my commitment to create a more inclusive and united Botswana. Ladies and gentlemen, we remain grateful to the international community and our development partners for the support they continue to give us to carry out our development agenda. We will continue to work closely with the international community at large to promote peace, democracy, and economic integration, amongst others, to help advance the global development agenda with special emphasis on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the African Union Agenda 2063, multilateralism, and good neighborliness. In our engagement with the international community, my government will continue to pursue a balanced and pragmatic foreign policy, which is a hybrid of our values and our development aspirations. This is natural in that we, as a development country founded on democratic ideals, fit hand to glove in this framework. As I conclude my remarks, I'd like to once again thank God Almighty and Botswana for the confidence expressed in my leadership through the ballot. Therefore, my pledge this morning was not only to uphold the highest standards of the presidency, but also to you, Botswana, from all walks of life, to serve you to the best of my abilities for the promotion of peace and stability at home and abroad. I will do all in my power to unite us and lead from the front as we grow. I am confident that the prevailing inspiration and purpose, we shall achieve our aspirations as espoused in our National Vision 2036. I wish to take a break and thank you most heartily for your attention, and may God bless Botswana. Ula! Ula! Ula!
Reka tsa manwa rona ke mahoko a